$158 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,701. Antiwar.com reports UN Special Rapporteur on Torture Nils Melzer has issued a new statement on Wednesday claiming information that Gitmo detainee Ammar al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to torture by U.S. forces, including treatments banned under international law. Baluchi is being accused of having facilitated 9/11 and worked as a courier for Osama bin Laden. During his detention at a CIA black site, he was repeatedly beaten by interrogators and subjected to multiple enhanced interrogation techniques. Though the U.S. nominally banned torture 10 years ago, Melzer indicated that the information he has is that al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to sleep deprivation and other mistreatments and not given access to proper medical care for the torture he has suffered in the past. The Pentagon denied that this was the case, saying they see no credible evidence any torture took place. That they're presenting this with the same language as the reports on civilian deaths in U.S. airstrikes is bizarre because while the U.S. does not have access to victims of their strikes on the ground, they certainly know about the treatment of detainees within their own facilities, yet instead of categorically denying that torture is taking place, they simply deny that evidence exists. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton on Wednesday named his Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to replace the departing Senator Al Franken in the U.S. Senate. The governor announced Smith will serve at least 1 year until January 2019. A special election will be held to permanently replace Franken, who last week said he would resign amid sexual misconduct claims by several women. Smith said, "I accept this nomination, and it will be my great honor to serve Minnesota as United States Senator. Though I never anticipated this moment, I am resolved to do everything I can to move Minnesota forward. I will be a fierce advocate in the United States Senate for economic opportunity fairness for all Minnesotans." Franken's term was not set to expire until 2020. His actual departure date has not yet been announced. In 2014, Smith was elected to serve as the state's 48th lieutenant governor. The special election in November 2018 coincides with the regular election for Minnesota's other senator. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the White House said Wednesday the U.S. government needs a major overhaul of information technology systems and should take steps to better protect data and accelerate efforts to use cloud-based technology. The report outlined a timeline over the next year for IT reforms and a detailed implementation plan. The report said one unnamed cloud-based email provider has agreed to assist in keeping track of government spending on cloud-based email migration. President Donald Trump in April signed an executive order creating a new technology council to overhaul the U.S. government's information technology systems. The report said the federal government must eliminate barriers to using commercial cloud-based technology. The report found federal agencies must consolidate their IT investments and place more trust in services and infrastructures operated by others. Government agencies often pay dramatically different prices for the same IT items, according to the report, sometimes 3 or 4 times as much. A 2016 U.S. Government Accountability Office report estimated the U.S. government spends more than $80 billion on IT annually, but said spending has fallen by $7.3 billion since 2010. The GAO report said U.S. government IT investments are becoming increasingly obsolete. Many use outdated software languages and hardware parts that are unsupported. The report also found some agencies are using systems that have components that are at least 50 years old. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
California is reeling from Super Rainbow Percival, which left a trail of devastation along the West Coast. A luminous band of destruction touched down in Santa Barbara. Percival set a record as the most powerful rainbow in U.S. history, with at least 30 confirmed fatalities and damage estimates in the billions. The vividly saturated colors seared through homes and roads, charring everything in its path. Those exposed to the rainbow's fury say they're lucky to be alive.
The sky was completely blue. All of a sudden, it's filled with brilliant hues of red and indigo.
All I can say is when I was a kid, rainbows didn't cut people in half.
Meteorologists say that Percival is just the latest in a pattern of increasingly dangerous rainbows, and that they're only growing stronger as global temperatures rise. Percival also comes on the heels of some extreme weather phenomena overseas. Authorities in the Philippines are still searching for thousands in the aftermath of mega sunset Wilma.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can join us. And the us in studio is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris is giving me some kind of hand sign. I'm not sure.
That's the turn up my mic just a hair. Oh.
Mine's not even.
You mean your headphones?
Headphones, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
All right, yeah, so you're summoning your inner...
Well, now I know why mine aren't working.
Yeah, it helps if they're plugged in.
Heather is holding the plug in one hand.
It's been a few weeks, guys.
Just point it to who you want to listen to, and it works that way.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. She's out of practice, yeah. You were sick last time.
Sick, and then before that was a conference or something you guys
Yeah,
did?
we were
at
in
a
Portsmouth.
conference. Right.
Before that was Thanksgiving, so I spent it with my family.
Turkey Gobbler Day.
That's
Yes.
right. But today's a very special day, isn't it, Heather? Isn't it?
I came in just for you guys because I missed everyone.
And it's your birthday.
She got a tiny little birthday cake.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
Did she really?
A pettit for.
Oh, that's what those are.
My
I thought
family-
this was my birthday present or Christmas present or something like that.
No, you get the leftovers.
I get the left. Okay, well, that's pretty much like how it is on my birthday at home.
Yeah.
So happy birthday.
Thank
I'm not going to
you.
insult you by asking you how old you are because I already know.
She's
How
like
old?
19.
Is she legal yet? I wasn't sure she was that old.
You can call in to
I'm
sing
27.
her happy birthday if you want to. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Something that's not so happy. Michigan State University student did
they went on a
some
little hunt.
Some kind of investigative reporting of sorts.
You could call it that, I guess. This comes to us from Michigan State University's MSU Today. The headline is this: MSU scholars find $21 trillion in unauthorized government spending. Defense Department to conduct first ever audit.
Now, this, to people that have, kind of been paying attention to various news reports, isn't too terribly surprising, because there was the study from Reuters from about 2.5 years ago where they found some like $6 or $10 trillion of unreported spending or something.
Right.
Is that what they call the black budget? Is that what it's been like dubbed over the years?
We'll get into the story. I don't think they talk about that, but black budgets, nobody's ever going to find.
Right. No, this is stuff to where it's kind of in the books, but it's not necessarily reported all the proper kinds of ways. But the thing with Reuters, they initially reported that in like 2014, 2015, and then I think it was early this year, it just started blowing up all over the internet of, Pentagon something, blah, 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 but everybody's paying attention to the Super Bowl. And then I looked at the stories and I was like, yeah, that's because this report came out like 1.5 years ago.
Yeah. We'll get into it here, and we'll answer some of your questions, Darryl, your questions, Heather, and some of the callers' questions. Earlier this year, a Michigan State University economist working with graduate students and a former government official found $21 trillion in unauthorized spending in the Departments of Defense and Housing and Urban Development for the years 1998 to 2015. So they only looked at 2 cabinet positions over a 17-year period. The work of Mark Skidmore and his team, which included digging into government websites and repeated queries of U.S. agencies that went unanswered, coincided with the Office of Inspector General at one point disabling the links to all key documents showing the unsupported spending. Luckily, the researchers downloaded and stored the documents. Now, the Department of Defense has announced it's willing to conduct the first department-wide independent financial audit in its history. Read the December 7th announcement here. That's just a link. The Defense Department did not say specifically what led to the audit, but the announcement came 4 days after Skidmore discussed his team's finding on USA Watchdog, a news outlet run by former CNN and ABC News correspondent Greg Hunter. While we can't know for sure what role our efforts to compile original government documents and share them with the public has played, we believe it may have made a difference, said Skidmore, the Morris Chair at State and Local Government Finance and Policy at MSU. Skidmore got involved last spring when he heard Catherine Austin Fitz, former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, refer to a report which indicated the Army had $6.5 trillion in unsupported adjustments or spending in fiscal year 2015. Given the Army's $122 billion budget, that meant unsupported adjustments were 54 times spending authorized by Congress.
And $6.5 trillion is what, about double the entire federal budget for a year?
I think about 1.5 maybe. I think, aren't we somewhere around 4? We hit the first $4 trillion budget ever, I think, last time.
Yeah, I thought it had come down, and they've not actually passed a full yearly budget in close to a decade now, so it's really hard to keep up, because they keep passing these temporary spending things and then emergency funding of this and that and the other thing.
Now I have a question. So this is a process I'm not really familiar with. Now, when Congress decides, they all get elected, right? And then they all together decide how the budget gets split up?
Well,
like if there's X amount of tax dollars in the pot,
sure.
How exactly do they go about... Like, do they give it all out at the beginning of the year?
Well, that's not really so important because they routinely run deficits, which means the budget is more than the revenues.
Right, but let's just go ahead and try answering the question. So there are some things that you've probably heard of earmarks. Mm-hmm. And some people think, earmarks? That's a dirty word. No, earmark just says you're going to spend this amount of money on this. If you give Chris money and say, Chris, go buy groceries, he can buy whatever he wants. But if you say, Chris, here's money, go buy groceries and make sure you pick up 2 loaves of bread and a bag of chips. The 2 loaves of bread and a bag of chips is an earmark.
Right.
So Congress sometimes just gives money to various government entities and says, spend it on whatever.
Do what you like.
And then other times they say, but make sure you pick up those 2 loaves of bread and a bag of chips.
Right. Except instead of 2 loaves and a bag of chips, it might be make sure you build that new
highway through my congressional district.
Right.
Yeah, but do they all have to submit budget proposals and it all has to get voted on and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So typically how
the Department of Defense would get voted a specific amount, right?
Typically how it works is, different cabinet positions put together their own budgets for the next fiscal year.
They send to the president.
Right.
The president sends a budget to Congress.
Right, which is really... The president really has no constitutional role there. Congress, in the Constitution, it's very clear that Congress is the only one that has the power to raise and appropriate. So raise money through taxation or however you're going to do it. Actually, they didn't have that in the original Constitution because we didn't have an income tax or anything like that. But, from things like... tolls and what am I thinking of? Tariffs and excises and things like that. They would then appropriate. Congress would sit down and say, okay, well, the military says they need this much, and the Department of the Interior says they need this much. We have this much money to go, so we're going to divide it up this way. Now the process is completely different. The what they do is the departments, like Darryl explained, submit theirs to the president, who then goes over it and then submits his budget to Congress, which it doesn't follow. It's not unconstitutional,
right?
But it doesn't follow the process that the Constitution laid out.
But then, in addition to that, you then have various departments that go ask congressmen, hey, we really need this extra money. And so then they pass all of these temporary sort of things that wind up just inflating what the budget actually is, that's not reported in the actual budget that they passed 5 months earlier, assuming they actually passed a budget 5 months earlier. Oh, yeah, we've been on these temporary spending things for, like a decade now?
At least, if not longer.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
The young lady from the rescue delivered happy, and I panicked. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, and I thought, what did I get us into? The cause of his issue was poor nutrition. It was neglect. The other owners didn't care enough about him to give him the nutrition he needed. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite, DINOVITE.com. I ordered the first 90-day supply, and within a couple weeks, his skin started clearing up. He didn't smell. He had more energy. He just had a glow and a bounce about him. We've been using Dinovite for the last year, and Happy the rescue dog is Happy the healthy dog. I tell all my friends who have rescues to give their dog the chance at a new start with Dinovite. It's going to pay off for you and your dog for years to come.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
855-450-FREE is that toll-free call-in line. We're talking about the report that was done by some Michigan State students. Every time I see MSU, because I grew up in Alabama, MSU, Mississippi. Nope, this is Darryl. Michigan State. They did some digging and found $21 trillion in unauthorized government spending from the Department of Defense and Housing and Urban Development between 1998 and 2015. $6.5 trillion of that from the Department of Defense in fiscal year 2015 alone. We'll get back into this story. But maybe if these government entities had some cameras, they could, keep track of the money by pointing the camera at the money.
Oh, it's a stretch, but I see where you're going
probably,
with this. Go ahead.
Probably a stretch, but maybe you've got a safe in your house where you store some valuable things and you want to make sure that nobody's tampering with your safe. Well, get yourself a Blink home security system. They deliver this thing directly to your door, and even if you're not that technically inclined or you have a complicated router system, you can get this thing set up in about 10 or 15 minutes, and it will notify you whenever anything moves in front of that wireless camera, or you can just go onto the app on your phone and look at the camera whenever you want to. And have we got a deal for you? Get 3 Blink security cameras for what the other guys charge for 1. That's right, 3 cameras for what the other guys would charge for 1. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. Blink Protect, all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Well, let's get back into some more ridiculous government spending. And to be clear, $21 trillion, I mean, it is kind of pocket change, I guess. That's the amount of money that government spend in over 5 years. That's 5 years worth of spending that went unreported. And we're talking about Morris Skidmore. Let me find my spot again. Mr. Skidmore is the Morris Chair in State and Local Government Finance and Policy at MSU. And he also heard a quote from Catherine Austin Fitts, who is a former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, referring to a report that indicated the Army had $6.5 trillion in unsupported adjustments just in 1 year in 2015. And the story continues, Skidmore thought Fitts had made a mistake. Maybe she meant $6.5 billion and not $6.5 trillion, he said.
Yeah, I could see somebody, accidentally putting a decimal in the wrong spot, writing a T instead of a B accidentally.
Or misspeaking, because, frequently in federal level, they're talking billions and trillions. They're not talking millions. So he thought maybe she misspoke.
Few billion here, few billion there. Pretty soon we're talking some real money.
Yep. He continues, so I found the report myself, and sure enough, it was $6.5 trillion. Skidmore and Fitts agreed to work together and investigate the issue further. Over the summer, 2 MSU graduate students searched government websites, especially the website of the Office of the Inspector General, looking for similar documents dating to 1998. They found documents indicating a total of $21 trillion in undocumented adjustments over the 1998 to 2015 period. The original government documents, and it includes a link for that. In a December 8th Forbes column he co-authored with Lawrence Kudlikoff, Skidmore said the gargantuan nature of the undocumented federal spending, quote, should be of great concern to all taxpayers. I'll call that the understatement of the decade. Taken together, these reports point to a failure to comply with basic constitutional and legislative requirements for spending and disclosure. The column concludes, We urge the House and Senate Budget Committee to initiate immediate investigations of unaccounted federal expenditures as well as the source of their payment. So will they take this on? Is this the story that prompted, for the first time ever, the Pentagon to actually audit themselves?
I don't know. And I followed the link.
Right.
From that story to where they had, the supporting documentation, and they have an update here. Update as of December 12th, 2017, which is about 2 days ago. Subsequent to the publication of Dr. Skidmore's report, the Office of the Inspector General at the Department of Defense and the Department of Housing and Urban Development took reports offline. Consequently, our primary links in the table below are the same documents posted on our website. We have preserved the DoD and HUD links in the footnotes. If they result in a 404 error or not found message, this indicates that they were taken down or moved subsequent to publication. On December 11th, we learned that the key documents had been reposted on the OIG website, but with different URLs. Documents now appear to be reposted with new URLs. As we find them, we will add them to the footnotes entitled New Link. So let me sort of rephrase this ever so slightly. They bookmarked all of the supporting documentation that they had from Department of Defense and HUD.
Right.
And then once they posted those links, the Department of Defense and HUD then decided to change the URLs so that all of the supporting documentation no longer goes to where it's supposed to go. Which leads me to believe that no, the Department of Defense isn't going to do an actual thorough audit of themselves. And if they do, they'll wind up saying, we didn't do anything wrong. Or even if they do wind up finding that they did something wrong, they'll just sort of like sweep it under the rug and nobody's going to pay attention to it.
This is very disturbing, the things that we have found, and we assure you it will never happen again. And we have a new process in place to ensure that it will never happen again. And
right. Just like when Reuters published the report in early 2016 that fiscal year 2015, there was that $6.5 trillion. Nothing happened.
Right.
It was like a year before anybody paid attention that Reuters put something out in 2016.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and I mean, my frustration in this goes back to the early 80s when I was in the military and saw some, I'll just minimize it and say wasteful government spending. It was things like, it wasn't the $900 hammer. It was a $2,000 empty rack for communications equipment that cost $1 million. And if I got the rack completely filled with communications equipment, it was $1 million.
Well, what about the, what was it, the $3,000 coffee pot that had to be specially made to fit the specially designed, super expensive coffee maker that was specified to fit the coffee pot?
I don't know. I mean, there's a million stories like this, but the point is, we have elected officials. And we trust them. We
Do you think this is a result of necessarily like the government, or is it like people that get the contracts jacking up the prices?
It's a good question. We can talk about that when we come back.
Yeah, and some of it, this wasteful $6.5 trillion worth of spending. I'm not going to blame contractors on that. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
How many of us make New Year's resolutions tied to losing weight, more exercise, and overall physical fitness? Well, American Century Investments' Jay Hummel says, don't forget about financial fitness.
New Year's is the perfect time to reassess your finances, as well as to educate yourself on financial solutions that can help you prepare for all of your life stages, including retirement.
Find out how at americancentury.com. That's americancentury.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the study, or the report, rather, that was done by some scholars at Michigan State University, where they found that between 1998 and 2015, the Departments of Defense and Housing and Urban Development wound up having about $21 trillion worth of unauthorized spending. And their report on the Department of Defense side basically corresponds exactly with what Reuters reported about a year ago, or close to 2 years ago now, of $6.5 trillion worth of accounting entry adjustments in 2015 fiscal year. And did some digging here, and the entire federal budget for fiscal year 2017 is $3.65 trillion.
Right. Yeah, I believe this year Trump has submitted the first ever $4 trillion budget.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yay.
Way to go.
I remember, and I'm showing my age here, I remember when the federal debt hit $4 trillion.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And I thought, wow, this is a massive number. We're never going to pay that back.
Now it's unable to be calculated because we have so many, entitlements and things like that are unfunded.
Well, the unfunded future liabilities is different from the current debt.
Well, yeah, whatever you want to call it. I understand the difference between debt and liabilities.
Right.
But when we look at the whole nut, the whole amount that we have to pay out, it's staggering. It's not staggering. It's just impossible. You can't raise taxes enough to ever pay for it. You can't borrow enough to ever pay for it. You can't print money enough and fast enough to ever pay for it.
Well, luckily, Chris, they don't have to actually print the money. They can just go into their supercomputer and hit some numbers and bada boom, bada bing. Now there's extra money. Because it's all like debit cards and checkbooks.
Right. And then we'll be figuring out how to teach our kids about hyperinflation.
The budget is infinity dollars.
Yeah.
And when you go to the grocery store to buy that 2 loaves of bread and what was the other thing that I had mentioned?
A bag of chips.
Yeah. It's infinity dollars minus 1. So you just hand over your infinity card and then pay the infinity dollars.
And to be clear, the $21 trillion has to do with 2 cabinet positions, 2 departments of the federal government. That's 2 out of 15. And granted, DOD, Department of Defense, it's the 800-pound gorilla. It gets the most money out of anything we do for a single department. But
yes,
you have some other big ones out there that aren't mentioned, like Homeland Security, energy. I mean, these get some big numbers too. So, yeah, it's I don't know.
And then let's see what the Department of Defense actually has to say, because they released that report saying, for the first time ever, there's going to be an agency-wide fiscal audit. Skipping down a little bit in their report, it says audits are necessary to ensure the accuracy of financial information. They also account for property. Officials estimate that the department has around $2.4 trillion in assets.
Okay. Federal agency, our tax dollars have paid for that. I expect that to be an exact number.
Yes,
Is there anything wrong with me expecting that to be an exact number?
For what?
For anything. Honest to God, you're taking people's money, and you're saying you're going to spend it prudently because you have to, because these things are necessary. I don't think it's too much to ask for exact numbers. And approximately what? What was that number again?
2.4 trillion with a T, not billion with a B.
I'm sorry. 2.however many trillion, just nail it down. Tell me what it is.
Right.
I demand that at the local level.
That they should be able to do a line item of the assets. I remember a couple of years ago here in New Hampshire, somebody had pointed me to the annual report from the New Hampshire Liquor Commission, where they listed like $16 million worth of non-inventory assets.
Okay.
So inventory assets would be all the liquor on the shelves, the other various things that they sell. Non-inventory assets, things like buildings, shelving, cash registers, mops, buckets,
paper bags,
paper bags, things of that sort. So I sent a FOIA request. Please send me a list of your non-inventory assets. The response I got was, we have no records relevant to your request.
Huh. All right. So,
which means they have no clue what they actually have, so they're guessing that they have $16 million.
$16 million sounds good.
And that's after they deducted and depreciated the value of stuff, so it was actually closer to like $34 million.
Right.
But continuing on here with the Department of Defense, the comptroller says, quote, with consistent feedback from auditors, we can focus on improving the processes of our day-to-day work. Annual audits also ensure visibility over the quantity and quality of the equipment and supplies our troops use.
Gotcha.
The DoD's Office of Inspector General hired independent public accounting firms to conduct audits of individual components, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, agency's activities and more, as well as a department-wide consolidated audit to summarize all results and conclusions. And they say beginning in 2018, our audits will occur annually, with reports issued November 15th. What are you going to be doing on November 15th? You're going to be holding your breath waiting on this report? Because I'm not.
Well, to go to Trump's talk, this is one of those things that he's talked about. He's talked about more responsible government. So, okay, you say you're going to do this. An audit of something of this magnitude is a huge undertaking, and nobody out there wants to know what these accounting firms are going to make off this. But I applaud them for at least saying they're going to do it.
Yeah, this is why every libertarian needs to run for auditor in their state. Like, actually, my very good friend Dan Fishman is running for auditor in Massachusetts, and he's running basically saying, like, who better to audit the Democrats and the Republicans than a libertarian? You know what I mean? And it makes so much sense.
Well, auditor's not an elected position in every place.
Okay, maybe not every place, but if it is,
if you have that option,
perfect opportunity for libertarians to go in and
I agree. I'm just saying, it's not elected everywhere.
Right. But before we went to break, you had a question.
Huh? Oh, I was going to say that when it comes to like government spending and stuff like that, where, you're talking about like the $3,000 coffee pot or something like that. Like, is it necessarily that once elected officials go to spend money on things, I don't think it's necessarily them being like, oh, well, I'm going to give you specifically $3,000 for your little coffee pot. I think it's also got to do with like private contractors kind of having this business, behavior. It's just like standard where they all jack up their prices when anything is paid for through tax dollars. Because I used to date a guy that was a roofer, and all of the roofing companies that would bid on the contract jobs to do the roofs on all these like government-owned buildings and facilities and stuff, he would make like $18 an hour doing shingle regularly and like $25 an hour for rubber roof.
Right.
And when he would get paid rate work, meaning tax dollars, it would be $45 an hour for shingle and $54 an hour rubber roof. And that was the exact same work for the exact same thing, but all of them charge more.
A lot of it, it's a combination of things. So if I give you money and say you can go, or I just give you a no limit credit card and say go shopping, you're not going to be as responsible with the money as if you went with your card knowing you had a limit. And then there's also the thing of, oh, well, we can make extra money with these guys because they've got no bargaining power. They can spend whatever they want. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
If it's working, don't quit. DINOVITE.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. You got it?
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Markets went into a frenzy today after the price of money suddenly skyrocketed to $90 a dollar. Onion reporters spoke to economics professor Mark Cosgrave about the soaring cost of U.S. currency and the impact of increasingly unpredictable dollar-to-dollar rates.
Right now, money prices are steeply rising with no signs of slowing down. This morning alone, the price of dollars nearly tripled, with 1 cent worth approximately $6. That's exponentially higher than even a week ago when money was trading at roughly $53 on the dollar. To put it bluntly, we're now in the midst of a national economic crisis.
According to Cosgrave, the abrupt spike in dollar prices initially caused many Americans to hold on to their money, hoping that the $90 cost of dollars would soon dip back down. But as prices continued to climb, investors panicked and began purchasing as much money as possible.
But with the cost of quarters hitting $4.97 and the $5 bill jumping to a 12-year high of $372, the days when you could get $30 or $40 for just a couple of bucks are unfortunately long gone.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Darryl
and Heather
and Chris.
And maybe you would like to join a bunch of libertarians and, dare I say, anarchists in Acapulco in February. That's right. The Anarchapulco is coming up in February 15th through the 18th. You can join people like G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venat, Julia Taransky, Vit Jedlicka, and many, many more, plus live music from Jordan Page and several other artists. Again, February 15th through the 18th, happening at the Princess Resort in Acapulco, Mexico. There is a health and wellness retreat, a Cryptopulco, Change the Media University, and an Amazonian ceremony called the Snake and the Jaguar. Your results for the event may vary, but if you use code FTL, you get 10% off. Go to anarchapulco.com. That's anarchapulco.com. We're talking about federal spending and budgets and unaccounted for spending, to where there was the report from Reuters in early 2016 about the Department of Defense Inspector General's report from June of 2015, finding that in one quarter alone, there were $2.8 trillion in wrongful adjustments made to accounting entries, with a total of $6.5 trillion of such adjustments in fiscal year 2015. And Michigan State students, and I believe a couple of professors were involved in this, found $21 trillion worth of unauthorized spending from Department of Defense and the Department of Housing and Urban Development between 1998 and 2015. And Heather, you asked the question about how much of a role does, I'm not going to say shady contractors, but the fact that contractors do wind up using different rates for when they bid on government jobs versus when they bid on a job in the private sector.
Exactly.
And Chris, you made a good point off the air, though, about the fact that in a lot of cases, there are requirements that government contractors must use union rates.
Yeah.
Is this fact? I mean,
yes.
And I'm trying to pull up some.
Not every state.
Not
because,
every state.
You know, these are things that vary state to state. On state issue, you know, if somebody's bidding on a job for, say, the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, they've got different rules than if they're bidding on something in New Hampshire or New York or California or Alabama.
Now,
but then there are federal regulations for anybody doing, you know, federal contracting work.
Right.
Well, would those regulations be set by unions themselves or politicians?
Indirectly.
I imagine
with
politicians
lobbying from the unions.
Yeah, but I feel like politicians would want to pay less because they'd want more money to spend on more stuff.
They would, but they also really like the fact that they get tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, sometimes from labor unions. This is campaign contributions. So that's sort of the system. If labor unions give you, you know, let's say they make $1 million donation to your Senate campaign, and they say, these are the things that are really important to us. We'd like to count on you, and we'd love to make a contribution. Well, let me go back and look and see what they contributed last time. Holy cow, they gave somebody $1 million.
Right. And a lot of times there's these weird sorts of things of, we'll go with the lowest bid as long as everybody can jump through hoop X, Y, and Z.
Right.
A, B, and C, and some of those hoops are you must use union workers, you have to do this, you have to do that. So they artificially inflate while also saying we're using the lowest bid for people that can do this, and then there's only one or two companies that can actually do it. And who are those companies? The ones that wind up making all of the big campaign contributions in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and that's not just in this case of labor in government contracts, but it has to do with a lot of things. It's why often it's why military bases get built where they're built, or, you know, highway projects is a great example too. Where's the money coming from? And it's rough. And I'm not saying that there's some other existing better system, you know?
Right.
You look at Russia, and Russia was corrupt under communism. It seems to be corrupt under the plutocracy they have in place now.
Right.
So I'm not sure that there's a better way, but at least if we're going to talk the talk, at least let it be audited. Look at these numbers and publish them.
Right.
Don't hide them.
In a somewhat related story here from Reuters, the Trump administration has called for government IT to adopt cloud services. The White House said Wednesday the U.S. government needs a major overhaul of information technology systems and should take steps to better protect data and accelerate efforts to use cloud-based technology.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, before I get too far into this, Chris, what are your just your original thoughts on federal government using the cloud?
Insecure. That's the first thing I think of.
Why is that?
Because you're trusting your data to someone else, and it's the same reason that I hold my own private Bitcoin keys. I don't trust anyone else with them, and for all the security that certainly surrounds the Department of Defense and other departments that, you know, you don't want North Korea to have the launch codes or something like that. You would think it would be very high.
Oh, they're all zeros.
So that would be except 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be very.
For like 25 years,
they were all zeros. I remember
they were all zeros.
So
and they probably still are.
That's the first thing. The second thing is my second thought was, you know, compared to when I was in. So I was in the U.S. Army in we'll say the early 80s. and I was in communications. And a lot of the equipment that I worked on was Vietnam era or pre-Vietnam era. So 80s to 70s to 60s, 20-year-old technology. And I'm saying some of this stuff was really important stuff, things that you would not imagine would be using technology that old. Now, I'm sure that things are probably a little bit more up to date, a lot more up to date now, maybe.
Oh, wait until we get a couple paragraphs in. You'll be surprised.
Okay, then let's do that, Darryl.
The White House issued a report saying difficulties in agency prioritization of resources in support of IT modernization, ability to procure services quickly, and technical issues have resulted in an unwieldy and out-of-date federal IT infrastructure. The report outlined a timeline over the next year for IT reforms and detailed implementation plan. The report said one unnamed cloud-based email provider has agreed to assist in keeping track of government spending on cloud-based email migration. President Donald Trump in April signed an executive order creating a new technology council to overhaul the government's IT systems. The report said the federal government must eliminate barriers to using commercial cloud-based technologies, saying, quote, federal agencies must consolidate their IT investments and place more trust in services and infrastructure operated by others. Government agencies often pay dramatically different prices for the same IT item. The report said sometimes they pay 3 to 4 times as much. Now,
That
there's
doesn't
definitely
surprise me.
more
That's what I
here.
was just talking about.
Right. Right. So I wanted to pause here because, yeah, this is something that, definitely ties into what we were just talking about. The fact that, yeah, governments often do pay more. And then there's the question of why do they pay more? And it seems as though each, quote unquote, side is going to blame the other, to where the contractors, if you ask them why their rates are higher, they're going to say, well, there's this, that, the other sort of regulation that we have to comply with, and we have to do it this way and that way. And then the government people, they're just going to be like, well, those are the bids we got.
Right. And there is some level of truth to it. I mean, even in, my small town here in New Hampshire, if you want to put in a bid to cut the grass this summer, you are going to have to be licensed, bonded. You are going to have insurance and things like that. It's nothing
and probably
crazy,
a large amount of insurance. So it's not just going to be, yeah, I got liability if I wind up cutting my foot.
No, it'll be $1 million policy, which it sounds like a lot, but in insurance, that's not really that much. So.
Right. You can get like $1 million policy for like $100 a year or something.
Right. But still.
Yeah. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your thoughts on government spending or FedGov using the cloud. This is Free Talk Live.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap, because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, December 14th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,701. Antiwar.com reports UN Special Rapporteur on Torture Nils Melzer has issued a new statement on Wednesday claiming information that Gitmo detainee Ammar al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to torture by U.S. forces, including treatments banned under international law. Baluchi is being accused of having facilitated 9/11 and worked as a courier for Osama bin Laden. During his detention at a CIA black site, he was repeatedly beaten by interrogators and subjected to multiple enhanced interrogation techniques. Though the U.S. nominally banned torture 10 years ago, Melzer indicated that the information he has is that al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to sleep deprivation and other mistreatments and not given access to proper medical care for the torture he has suffered in the past. The Pentagon denied that this was the case, saying they see no credible evidence any torture took place. That they're presenting this with the same language as the reports on civilian deaths in U.S. airstrikes is bizarre because while the U.S. does not have access to victims of their strikes on the ground, they certainly know about the treatment of detainees within their own facilities, yet instead of categorically denying that torture is taking place, they simply deny that evidence exists. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton on Wednesday named his Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to replace the departing Senator Al Franken in the U.S. Senate. The governor announced Smith will serve at least 1 year until January 2019. A special election will be held to permanently replace Franken, who last week said he would resign amid sexual misconduct claims by several women. Smith said, "I accept this nomination, and it will be my great honor to serve Minnesota as United States Senator. Though I never anticipated this moment, I am resolved to do everything I can to move Minnesota forward. I will be a fierce advocate in the United States Senate for economic opportunity fairness for all Minnesotans." Franken's term was not set to expire until 2020. His actual departure date has not yet been announced. In 2014, Smith was elected to serve as the state's 48th lieutenant governor. The special election in November 2018 coincides with the regular election for Minnesota's other senator. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the White House said Wednesday the U.S. government needs a major overhaul of information technology systems and should take steps to better protect data and accelerate efforts to use cloud-based technology. The report outlined a timeline over the next year for IT reforms and a detailed implementation plan. The report said one unnamed cloud-based email provider has agreed to assist in keeping track of government spending on cloud-based email migration. President Donald Trump in April signed an executive order creating a new technology council to overhaul the U.S. government government's information technology systems. The report said the federal government must eliminate barriers to using commercial cloud-based technology. The report found federal agencies must consolidate their IT investments and place more trust in services and infrastructures operated by others. Government agencies often pay dramatically different prices for the same IT items, according to the report, sometimes 3 or 4 times as much. A 2016 U.S. Government Accountability Office report estimated the U.S. government spends more than $80 billion on IT annually, but said spending has fallen by $7.3 billion since 2010. The GAO report said U.S. government IT investments are becoming increasingly obsolete. Many use outdated software languages and hardware parts that are unsupported. The report also found some agencies are using systems that have components that are at least 50 years old. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A man thanks God he's not sexually attracted to children, and Popeye's home is burglarized. Week in and week out, you come back like a housebroken Pomeranian, loyal to the bitter end. Good boy. This is the Onion Week in Review. Georgia's Cobb County Evangelical Hospital held its 5th annual Walk to Cure Gayness today, reportedly drawing thousands of participants to raise funds that would cure sufferers of their homosexuality and make gayness a thing of the past. Hospital administrators told reporters that funding from the walk would go into providing new state-of-the-art gayness treatment equipment, along with remodeling the hospital's physical therapy center, which has spent nearly 14 years reteaching gay men how to walk properly.
Oh God, I was a goner. But as you can see, I'm now happily married to a woman, and as of next month, I will have been in full remission for 2 whole years. I'm just so very, very happy. Everything's really good in my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2 in studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we're talking about government spending and government waste, and now apparently Donald Trump wants to wind up adopting the cloud for federal government purposes. The article here will jump back into where they're talking about some of the overuse. There are at least 7,000 separate IT investments by the U.S. government, and they want to consolidate some of that and use the cloud, which is basically code for let's not have our own servers, let's put this on somebody else's computer.
Well, and there's absolutely, for consumers, there's generally a financial benefit to doing that. So overall, I don't think it's an irresponsible thing to say. I think that's good that they are looking at ways that might reduce costs, because if you go to somebody else's servers to run stuff, you're not just eliminating the need for a server, which you're going to buy obviously at an inflated price from what Darryl was telling us earlier, but you're also possibly eliminating positions. You don't need as many systems engineers. You don't need as many data center techs, so on and so on.
In theory, but then some of that, now we're contracting this out and we're going to pay that contractor 4 times what we were paying the guy that we had hired.
Yeah, we'll find out. So this is kind of an interesting aside, but I was at a Christmas party a week or 2 ago.
Okay.
Just that time of year.
Yep.
And a lady I was talking to turns out to be, I'm not going to give a specific position, but let's say she's in the top 3 at Department of Transportation.
All right.
And what she said the message in the federal government is figure out how to decentralize this stuff we're doing. We have to figure out ways to get away from the way it's always been done. And what she said to expect, and this was one example, expect us to be doing much less at Department of Transportation and see a lot more money in block grants going back to the states so that that money's managed at the state level, which begged the question from me, Well, why don't you just quit taking it from us in the first place and leave it at the state level?
See, we can't do that, and we'll continue the discussion. But first, to the phones, 855-450-FREE. We've got Darryl calling in from Austin, Texas. Darryl, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, you guys were talking about like the $50 for a coffee pot stuff. That kind of reminds me of that line in the movie Independence Day, the first one.
Right.
Where they asked how did they pay for all this secret stuff, and Judge Hirsch's character goes, "Well, you don't really think they paid $50 for a coffee pot or $500 for a toilet seat, do you?"
That's great. Yeah, you can imagine how much stuff gets buried that way.
Isn't that basically money laundering?
If you were I do
Yeah,
it.
but it's legal money laundering because the government okayed it, I guess. I don't know.
There you go.
Right. What Nixon said, it's not illegal when the president does it.
Exactly.
Or something.
You know. Yeah, and also talking about the contractors and why they charge more. In like when you're doing a government contract, you have to use, in the United States, you have to use like all American labor. You have to use a certain percentage of people who are actually from that area you're working in, and some of these people, you have to hire them, and they're about useless. So the other people who are taking up their weight have to get paid more, so they'll do the job and take up the slack.
Right.
And then you have to use all parts from the United States, like your nails have to be made in the U.S., the wood, like if you're doing a roof, everything, the roofing nails and everything have to be made in the U.S.
That's interesting.
I know that's not true for a fact. I know for a fact that the company my ex worked for had a bunch of people that weren't even legal immigrants working for the company.
He may not have mentioned that. Do you think that's a
Now,
possibility?
if they got caught, they're going to get in trouble, because I had a friend of mine, actually my neighbor across the street when I lived in Virginia, he actually had done government contract work, and he kind of explained that to me, that, they have to follow a set of rules and regulations. And one of my mom's friends who lived in Maryland was a contractor who did, he pretty much did roads. He paved the roads pretty much.
Right.
And he told me that there sometimes he would turn down a job because the percentage of people he had to hire from that neighborhood was like, these people are useless crackheads. I'm not taking this contract.
That's
what I remember my ex specifically saying that he actually preferred the guys that he would work with that weren't legal because that they came here.
Right.
He's like, they worked so much harder. Like if my boss were to hire some the average American, 20-year-old, whatever, would just stand around smoking cigarettes, not really work, and would drag his feet, doing stuff. But these immigrants would come over here and they'd just be like busting out the roofs and stuff like that for like a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm sure if he would have got caught doing that, he might have lost the contract.
I think they all do it though. I think it's just a what do you call it? Just like a way of life. It's just
right.
I mean, that's just the trade.
Right. And that's different than, some, highly secure Homeland Security contract where they want a security back, a complete background check on something like that. So
you need to be able to pass an FBI background check and get this clearance and that one.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
when you're doing like DOD contracts, it actually is. A lot of times, if it's like they have to go onto a base or somewhere, or certain areas, then they actually have to pass a certain type of background check to be able to work.
Well, yeah, bases are different.
Legally, they're not going to pass the background check, and that will also drive up the cost.
Yeah, but there are federal office buildings in every single big city in the country, and a whole lot more than those, and there's lots of places that they can do that.
My father was in the military, and my uncle, I guess, he went to go bring my uncle lunch one time because my uncle and a bunch of these people he worked with were getting paid to pour the concrete at the base of one of those big windmills that they put up. Mm-hmm. So they were pouring the concrete, and my dad's like, oh, yeah, when I stopped by to give him his lunch, there was like 12 guys just standing around doing nothing while like a few of them actually poured the concrete. But they're all getting paid rate work.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, we've got to have all of these supervisors supervising the supervisors that are supervising the people that are doing the work.
Oh, God.
Because it's in the contract to where you have to have a certain number of supervisors.
Mm-hmm. Or a certain number of employees or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Darryl, anything else?
Yeah, also she was talking about that job. Also on certain jobs, like you have people there who are waiting to do their part of the job, and I'll tell you, people who are like project manager will tell you this. Like, you have people who have to do like say laying the concrete, is part, this part 3. Well, the people who have to do the next part after laying the concrete, they have to wait till the concrete gets done. They have to make sure that the concrete's right, it's where it needs to be, and then once that's done and it's dry, it's dried enough, it's hardened enough, then they can start doing their part of the work. And so those people standing around could be waiting for them to get done so they can do their section of the work.
Right, and then some of the concrete stuff, I know, at least with the masonry, you might have one guy whose job that it is to just like mix the batch so that it's ready, but he can't start mixing the batch until somebody tells him, hey, go ahead and start mixing the batch because we know it takes you this long to mix the batch.
So we'll just
and we're
pay you
gonna need
8
it
hours
here.
at like $54 an hour to mix a bag for 30 minutes.
Yep, because, union, my job is to pour it, not to mix it.
Yeah.
And I've got to wait until it's mixed. You started 15 minutes late, so I just get to stand here and wait around for a little bit. Cigarette break.
There's definitely a lot that could be done to overhaul the way all that stuff is paid for.
Also, to tell you a story that happened to me, I got hired by a civilian company to do 2 days worth of IT work, helping them set up some monitors and stuff in an office. And I ended up getting the job done in 1 day, but they still paid me for 2 days as per the contract because they're used to getting people who don't work hard. And me, I'd go in there and just, hey, get it done, get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl, thank you.
Sometimes you have stuff like that, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts, welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Maybe you've had some experiences with government efficiency. And no, we're not using that in an oxymoronic way. Or actually, yeah, we are. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And maybe you want to help build a better financial system, not just for yourself, but for everybody. Consider joining Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it's easy, it can be private, the fees are low, and transactions are fast or can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash, so go right now to dash.org and find out why. So in the last hour, I mentioned and we started discussing this report from the White House saying that Donald Trump wants to wind up having the federal government adopt cloud-based services and you've really got to push that button down.
So
there,
sorry, guys.
Heather.
I totally thought I was pushing the button.
Wants to use some cloud-based services and update some out-of-date IT infrastructure. The report from the White House, again, outlining a timeline over the next year for IT reforms and a detailed implementation plan. The report said one unnamed cloud-based email provider has agreed to assist in keeping track of government spending on cloud-based email migration. President Trump in April signed an executive order creating a new technology council to overhaul the government's IT systems. The article here continues by saying that federal government agencies, and actually government agencies at every level, often paid dramatically different prices for the same IT item. The White House report says sometimes it's 3 or 4 times as much. The article from Reuters continues by pointing out that Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet's Google, and Intel Corp are making big investments in the cloud computing business. A 2016 report from the Government Accountability Office estimated the U.S. government spends more than $80 billion every year on IT, but said spending had fallen by $7.3 billion since 2010. In 2015, there were at least 7,000 separate IT investments by the U.S. government. The $80 billion per year figure does not include the Defense Department's classified IT systems and 58 independent executive branch agencies, including the CIA. The GAO report said U.S. government IT investments, quote, are becoming increasingly obsolete. Many use outdated software language and hardware parts that are unsupported. The report found that some agencies, and Chris, this is the part that I wanted you to particularly pay attention to, especially because you had said that when you were in the military years ago, they were using stuff that was like 20, 30 years old at that time.
Yep.
Well, they're probably still using that same equipment. Reuters reports that the GAO found some agencies are using systems that have components that are at least 50 years old.
That's getting right in the neighborhood. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, and some of it I almost applaud, because some of the things, and even though this was, high tech at the time, we're talking communications and all sorts of different communications was some very arguably important things. But if something works, why replace it?
And, I'm not mad that they're using stuff that's 50 years old, because that's probably more secure than, if they would upgrade to like Windows 95. Yeah, go ahead. Use the ENIAC to calculate missile trajectory.
Right.
It's more secure than putting it on the damn cloud.
Yeah, there's some good points and some good arguments to be made for that, and I don't know. I'm always curious as to what's being used now after, seeing what I saw when I was in there. What are they doing now? I don't know.
There's probably somebody that found a way to hack a Pong machine to like mine Bitcoin or something.
Right.
Agencies, the article continues, agencies typically buy their own IT systems independently. The White House report says a lack of common standards and lack of coordination drives costly redundancies and inefficiencies. And that's something that, they could definitely wind up coordinating a little bit more, but that doesn't mean that you need to put everything on the Google Doc system or the AWS or something like that. And I'm wondering if the reason they're wanting to wind up putting some of this stuff on the cloud is to get around some of the spying and whatnot rules that apply to the federal government, where Google can collect any kind of data they want to against you. And if Google's collecting the data and it just so happens to somehow wind up on the NSA's portion of the cloud-based thing, does that violate the wiretapping rules that apply to the NSA? Does that apply, does that circumvent the FISA warrant requirement if Google happens to collect it and then just slide it over?
Well, Google has been collecting it and sliding it over for as long as
right, but they've been moving it from one server to another. Now it's all on the same server. It just happened to have shown up.
Well, there's been some questions about that, too, because sometimes your data doesn't reside. Let's say, we'll talk about Google. Say your Gmail. Your Gmail right now may not be residing on a U.S. server. It may be residing on a server in Europe because Google dynamically moves things around for efficiency. It may be in Mexico. So do the U.S. courts apply? Does any of this apply if the NSA is tapping a Mexican server outside the United States?
Trick question. It only applies when they say it applies.
Well, yeah, that's usually how it goes. But these are big questions, especially when you're talking about the cloud. We're talking about any of the big players have data centers almost on every continent, and they will use those dynamically. And if there's some enticement by the federal government, like, oh, would you like the federal government contract? They may be enticed to being less good actors than they would normally.
There's a little bit more to this, but let's first go to Skype where we've got Ricky calling in. Ricky, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Brother Darryl, Brother Chris, Sister Heather, good evening.
Good evening, Ricky.
Sorry there, that was the pizza guy. Now, I'm there, Sister Heather. Well, before I go...
Hold on, what kind of pizza did you order?
It turns out it's Domino's. They're actually having...
No, that's not what I meant. Like, did you get pepperoni? Did you get sausage? You got Hawaiian? The little fish on there. Do you put pineapples on your pizza?
No, actually, real quickly, it was one pizza was half pepperoni and half, what the hell was it? Half bacon. The other one was half black olive and half feta cheese, if I may.
Sounds great. All right.
Yeah, feta and ham is actually really good with white sauce instead of marinara. This is Free Talk Live. Ricky, we'll come back to you. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with downsizedc.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why downsizedc.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at downsizedc.org.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. We're talking about, IT. And the reason is because Donald Trump wants to have FedGov wind up moving some of the stuff onto the cloud to hopefully, I think the plan here is to wind up reducing some of the redundancies and inefficiencies. Again, White House report says that since the various federal agencies and departments buy their own IT systems independently without coordinating with others, that drives up the cost by creating redundancies and inefficiencies. Something that somewhat IT related, little old school, forums. We've got one. You can join it by going to forum.freetalklive.com. It's a branch of the Shire forums that are actually pretty busy for forums. And
lot going on over there.
Yeah, a lot going
impressive.
on. Doesn't have to necessarily be talk about the show or really anything. Forum.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to Skype, where we've got Ricky calling in. Ricky is enjoying some pizza. Got feta cheese on one, like
we were all
half pepperoni.
I think we all approved of his pizza choices. Was that
there was
universal? He's got my vote.
Well, except for the black olives.
I
like black olives. Yeah,
I'm
good with
not a
that.
huge fan. I'm with Darryl on that one.
Really? No
Yeah.
worries. Yeah, you got
We'll put them on Chris's piece.
exactly. That's fine.
Pile them all up.
Oh, Darryl, I'm sure you would approve, right, Brother Darryl?
I'm not a fan of the olives, but otherwise good choice. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right, now here we go. Now, before I talk to Sister Heather, and I'm glad that this come up because I've been thinking about Ricky from the Commonwealth history, actually. Now, a quick little point for you, Brother Chris. I don't talk much about my achievements fighting the good fight, but I had one recently, if I may.
Sure.
Well, it seems now that everybody in Monroe County, Pennsylvania now, if they ride the transit buses, can now carry a firearm regardless of their policy because their policy has been blown away.
Hear, hear. That's good news.
Yeah, you know the reason why the policy was there, supposedly?
Who knows?
I ain't going to say who said it over there, but it was somebody up on high said, well, Ricky, if you carry a gun, everybody want to carry one. I said, it's all right, brother. Nonetheless, there you go. Now, Sister Heather, now you were inquiring about how I became Ricky from the Commonwealth, the deputy of the Commonwealth, and my relationship to the young lady.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. How is your young lady?
Well, tell me quickly what key point you're most interested in.
How is she doing?
How's she doing? She's now she's on the run yet. I'm talking to her and trying to talk to her. And
she's on the run?
Well, you got to understand. You see, actually, when it comes
Hold
to
on.
her,
Do you have a southern accent now?
This got brought up a couple times, and yeah, you got kind of a foghorn leghorn thing going on.
I take as an insult to that. Now
It's meant as a compliment. It fits you.
Well, you know what? It's the power of the Spirit. It just come. It come like Ricky from the Commonwealth. And that's for the Gnostic talks in the future, Brother Darryl. You know? Long time since I talked about that. But back to the young lady.
Yeah.
See, I realized that it was never... Now, yes, she has 5 felonies, and she got 1 pending because she's out there in the wilderness. I talk to her from time to time. I'm very busy being Ricky from the Commonwealth, but I want to tell her to do the right thing, and she's coming around. And see, it was never about her. It was about him, a running buddy of hers. He's a cop killer. He's a bad guy. I was set up by a supervisor. I don't like supervisors. See, I was the Jeffersonian.
Hold on. You don't like supervisors, but you became a deputy to supervise someone.
I almost feel like you're dropping your R's too, Ricky.
Actually,
Jefferson.
The good news is, sister, my Philadelphia accent seemed to be gone also. I can even talk about other things that I could never say before. It's beautiful.
Glad it works for you.
Foghorn Leghorn, thank you for the call. You're just rambling and making absolutely no sense.
Was that really Ricky? That was like a cross between Ricky and like...
No, that was most assuredly Ricky from the Commonwealth, who apparently has become Foghorn Leghorn. Well, I say, boy. Wow.
Oh, my.
That is too funny.
So let's jump back into this article from Reuters about Donald Trump wanting to use the cloud. The White House issued a report in June saying that most of the government's 6,100 data centers, yeah, that's right, 6,100 data centers can be consolidated and moved to a cloud-based system. Various U.S. government systems have been the target of hacking and data breaches in recent years. In September, the Securities and Exchange Commission, America's chief stock market regulator, said cyber criminals may have used stolen data.
What a shocker.
Everything's going to be digital in the future. I mean, we're almost there. We're so close to being there.
Yeah, most of it is. There's still some paper floating around.
Like, even if, like, I'm just convinced that even if Bitcoin isn't like the be all of digital currencies and stuff like that, like governments will start using their own cryptocurrencies.
They will. I
probably
think it's
without doubt.
inevitable.
Like, we're not gonna. Nobody's gonna have like paper money anymore. It's all
they're
gonna
trying
be.
They're trying to do away with it now.
Like,
not just here, but in other countries, and that's the last sort of bit of control. You know, where you can take actual physical money and keep it and build it up and hide it from the government.
Right.
But
they
see,
don't
that's
like
the thing
that.
is, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I don't think cryptocurrencies are. I think cryptocurrencies, if anything, are more visible to the government. Just because when you think of artificial intelligence and you think of algorithms, like computers are so much smarter than us.
Well,
so
some
once
of
you
them are
make
more visible.
all of your transactions and every last penny you spend, and you turn it into technology, people are going to have computers that can hack that in seconds.
Who's
it's
talking
just
about
a matter
converting
of
every transaction into crypto?
Once money is obsolete, like paper money and stuff like that. Like if we were to have $1 million paper dollars in this room right now, we could go give them out, and it's so much harder to track where each one of those dollars went. Versus if you have $1 million in Bitcoin, you still have the digital path of where it went. Which computers are so advanced that you can have some crazy artificial intelligence program, like in seconds, you using algorithms and all of this data, crack codes. I mean, this is the way of the future.
Would think.
But there are cryptos like Zcash and Zencash that have zero knowledge proofs to where you can send a shielded transaction to where only the sender and receiver.
I think that's kind of like wishful thinking.
No. There is, and this is. And I'm not going to be the one who's going to be able to describe it, but there are some people, some cryptographers that are out there that have done tons of government work, and now they work in crypto, and a lot of them, I take them at their word. There's just too much evidence out there. Now, what we are going to see, you're talking about this amazing AI, we're going to see the advent of quantum computing, and quantum computing is computing on a whole nother level to where they could crack Bitcoin, Bitcoin's core
algorithm
cryptography in literally in seconds. I mean, it could just happen. That's what quantum can do once that gets right. But
I think we're moving, way past the point of what this article is talking about, to where they're saying that the government computers are subject of hacking. So let's put it on the cloud that is also subject to hacking.
Of course. But just to finish my thought on that, I'm sorry, Darryl. We'll get back to you. I promise.
I just feel like we're headed for
promise.
an era of battle of the AI.
Right. I'm just saying, we have gone way past what this article was even talking about.
Yeah, but that's what happens on talk radio.
I know. But the answer is now we're coming up with quantum-resistant cryptography, which is designed specifically against that sort of thing. So that's it. But we're going to go back and talk about technology and whether the government should move everything to the cloud.
I say no. They shouldn't have documents to begin with, but it should not be on the cloud if they do. But what about the moon? Should Trump go to the moon? This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about technology. And Heather had mentioned cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and the fact that some of them might be able to be easily figured out, the who sent what to the where. You want to keep up on news about Bitcoin and other cryptos, you can head over to news.bitcoin.com. Headline from about 15 hours ago, Federal Reserve Chair says the Fed does not really play any regulatory role in cryptocurrencies. Well, again, as far as big items for the year, Bitcoin was officially bigger than North Korea and the eclipse. That based on, I think, Google search results and algorithms of things that people were talking about throughout the year.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bitcoin, bigger than North Korea and the eclipse. You can find that and much more news over at news.bitcoin.com. So the reason that we got off on the technology topic is, again, because Donald Trump wants to have the federal government use cloud services. Article from Reuters. And again, the ending of this article, I think we just sort of, glossed over and went totally, opposite direction here. So let's repeat it here. The White House issued a report in June saying that most of the government's 6,100 data centers. Question is, why the blue hell are there 6,100 data centers for the federal government? Why is it that the federal government spends $80 billion per year on IT? That figure not including Defense Department classified IT systems or those from 58 independent executive branch agencies, including the CIA. So don't really know how much is being spent on IT. And maybe there's more than 6,100 data centers because there might be some classified ones somewhere. But the claim is that all of those can be consolidated and moved to a cloud-based storage system. No mention here of saving on human labor by not having to employ IT professionals to upkeep any of this stuff.
Right. And that was the whole, the big push behind cloud services was, look, you'll be able to downsize your in-house IT staff, which is expensive, which is why cloud services really are expensive. Right. They really don't need to be that expensive.
Now, you're not going to be a full-time 40-hour per week employee. You'll be on call, and we'll just pay you $10,000 a month to be on call when we need you. So here's a pager. Just make sure you answer it whenever we use it, and here's your money for being on call. And then when you show up to do anything, then we pay you, whatever the 2.5 times the going rate for IT work is.
Well, I'm glad to see I'm looking at it this way. Typically, what I would have expected out of government would have been, you know what, we need to do cloud stuff because that's what everybody else is doing. But, we have so many secrets here.
That basically sounds what it is going to be here.
Right. But the direction a lot of companies took was like, well, we can do our own cloud. Right. So we'll do an internal cloud. And then those companies found out that, after you set up virtual servers in all these different locations and you create data centers in all these different locations, you end up spending more money than if you just would have gone to cloud services in the first place.
Right. And the article concludes, various U.S. government systems have been the target of hacking and data breaches in recent years. And cloud-based storage systems have also been subject of hacking and DDoS attacks.
Of course.
Remember, what was it, about 14 months ago when the internet, they call it the day the internet died, where on the East Coast, Netflix didn't work for anybody for several hours because that
DNS
data center in Manchester, New Hampshire that I didn't even know existed until after this.
Yep, DYN-DNS, which is a DNS provider. They've been around forever, and a lot of people have used them to get their own little custom name to connect to their house and stuff like that. It's kind of cool.
But like I said, I'd never heard of that company until, apparently the major sort of backbone of the internet for the East Coast runs through New Hampshire, and there was a DDoS attack, and the internet was out for several hours. Was really only, like some of the really major websites that people were trying to get to. But just because, a federal government's computer is subject to hacking, we put it on the cloud and then nobody will try to hack it. No, that's not how this works.
Well,
that's not how any of this works.
No, but arguably, you're going to have people that work for the big cloud companies, that work for the Googles and the Microsofts of the world, whose job is nothing but Microsoft can't get hacked. And they have incentives. They have market incentives for that not to happen.
Correct.
The companies that do it well, a lot more companies trust going to Microsoft for their Office services like Office 365, or Google for their Google Office,
and
stuff
a
that
lot
they
of
do
people
online.
wind up using the Amazon AWS.
Right. But nobody looks to Yahoo anymore for some innovative solution after Yahoo got, 3 billion accounts. And for the record, that's just every Yahoo account. If you've ever had a Yahoo account, yahoo.com, email, whatever it is,
and
you have your data's been stolen.
The interesting thing on that Yahoo breach is initially they said, oh, yeah, it was about 1 billion accounts that wound up getting hacked. And then a couple months later, it was all of them.
I think
Don't
it was.
tell anybody.
This has been getting talked about for years. I think originally they said it was like 200,000, and then it was, may have been up to 1 million.
Because the hack happened in 2014.
2013, I think. Yeah.
2013, and then there was another in 2014. But it didn't really become big news until earlier this year when it was some massive number close to 1 billion, and then very quietly, it was everybody. Everybody that's ever used Yahoo ever has been hacked. And then who was it?
So I just found out I was hacked, apparently.
Experian? Was it Experian or the other one?
Oh God. Why am I drawing a blank on it? It's a huge hack.
The big credit agency wound up getting hacked with like 135 million.
Your brain fog.
Yeah. Oh my, we've been talking about this.
I think it was Experian. It wasn't TransUnion.
It was Equifax.
Equifax.
Oh, I got it before you said it.
Ding, ding, ding.
It
Heather
came back
wins.
to me.
Heather for the win.
My brain wins. Yay.
Yeah, the Equifax hack. We don't know because they have not released exactly what the extent of it is, but the closest they said was up to 143 million Americans. And if you go with
some Canadians and some Brits.
Right. And if you go by the number of adults in America, that's kind of like everybody.
Yeah, and you don't have a choice. Like, at least with Facebook,
right?
You have a choice to use Facebook. I'm not going to say that every adult has a choice to use Google or not, because some jobs require you have to use this Google Chromebook.
Right.
And, in theory, you don't have to take a job. You don't have to send your kids to school, but if you want to be a functioning adult and work, and you want unless you're able to homeschool your kids, and you send your kid to a school, and the school sends home the Chromebook, and you have to use the Chromebook to do the homework for little Johnny, there are people that are basically forced to use Google, but you're not forced to use Facebook. So you have a choice on that. You don't have a choice to use Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion.
Yep.
Because they wind up.
I've never. What do you mean?
Those are the big three.
They're the three
consumer credit reporting agencies.
Yeah, you don't call up TransUnion and say, "Hi, TransUnion, I would like you to keep a record of my credit for me." They just do it
because they have some laws behind them that give them that power to do that.
Yeah. They've got, contracts and whatnot, and government something is involved, and you have no choice for them to have your data.
And what's the downside? What do they have that's such a big
deal? The downside, they have every financial transaction you've ever had in your life.
They've got all of the vital information that anybody would need to get a credit card in your name. Your date of birth, every address you've ever lived at, every vehicle you've ever registered, your mother's maiden name.
All that stuff.
All of the stuff that somebody would need to totally screw up your credit. They have. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. You got it?
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, December 14th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,701. Antiwar.com reports UN Special Rapporteur on Torture Nils Melzer has issued a new statement on Wednesday claiming information that Gitmo detainee Ammar al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to torture by U.S. forces, including treatments banned under international law. Baluchi is being accused of having facilitated 9/11 and worked as a courier for Osama bin Laden. During his detention at a CIA black site, he was repeatedly beaten by interrogators and subjected to multiple enhanced interrogation techniques. Though the U.S. nominally banned torture 10 years ago, Melzer indicated that the information he has is that al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to sleep deprivation and other mistreatments and not given access to proper medical care for the torture he has suffered in the past. The Pentagon denied that this was the case, saying they see no credible evidence any torture took place. That they're presenting this with the same language as the reports on civilian deaths in U.S. airstrikes is bizarre because while the U.S. does not have access to victims of their strikes on the ground, they certainly know about the treatment of detainees within their own facilities, yet instead of categorically denying that torture is taking place, they simply deny that evidence exists. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton on Wednesday named his Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to replace the departing Senator Al Franken in the U.S. Senate. The governor announced Smith will serve at least 1 year until January 2019. A special election will be held to permanently replace Franken, who last week said he would resign amid sexual misconduct claims by several women. Smith said, "I accept this nomination and it will be my great honor to serve Minnesota as United States Senator. Though I never anticipated this moment, I am resolved to do everything I can to move Minnesota forward. I will be a fierce advocate in the United States Senate for economic opportunity fairness for all Minnesotans." Franken's term was not set to expire until 2020. His actual departure date has not yet been announced. In 2014, Smith was elected to serve as the state's 48th lieutenant governor. The special election in November 2018 coincides with the regular election for Minnesota's other senator. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the White House said Wednesday the U.S. government needs a major overhaul of information technology systems and should take steps to better protect data and accelerate efforts to use cloud-based technology. The report outlined a timeline over the next year for IT reforms and a detailed implementation plan. The report said one unnamed cloud-based email provider has agreed to assist in keeping track of government spending on cloud-based email migration. President Donald Trump in April signed an executive order creating a new technology council to overhaul the U.S. government's information technology systems. The report said the federal government must eliminate barriers to using commercial cloud-based technology. The report found federal agencies must consolidate their IT investments and place more trust in services and infrastructures operated by others. Government agencies often pay dramatically different prices for the same IT items, according to the report, sometimes 3 or 4 times as much. A 2016 U.S. Government Accountability Office report estimated the U.S. government spends more than $80 billion on IT annually, but said spending has fallen by $7.3 billion since 2010. The GAO report said U.S. government IT investments are becoming increasingly obsolete. Many use outdated software languages and hardware parts that are unsupported. The report also found some agencies are using systems that have components that are at least 50 years old. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
In a dramatic scene last night, a coalition of the nation's damaged women staged a drunken, tear-soaked march on the Capitol just after 2 a.m. Jane Carmichael has more.
Thank you, Brooke. The damaged women began their protest yesterday afternoon, marching on the National Mall at about 4 p.m., and then marching away furious, saying they were done with Congress once and for all. But then they came back again late last night, insisting that someone in Washington listen to them for once. The late-night protests started with tearful apologies, but quickly moved to anger as marchers demanded that Congress pass a bill making it illegal to say you love someone and then up and leave as soon as there's one little problem.
Why are you ignoring us? Stop ignoring us! Why don't you hear me when I talk to you? Wipe the smirk off of your face. No, come back! Come back because we think that we want you to care about us!
I don't need to pay a therapist to tell me I'm unhappy! I know I'm unhappy!
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 3, you can join us by calling toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. The us in studio is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And let's talk about going to the moon. Article from slate.com.
Oh, are we talking about the price of Bitcoin?
No.
Oh, okay. Some other context.
Yeah,
this may be the first
lunar...
time. The moon, that thing up in the sky.
Yes.
This may be the first time I've heard going to the moon not used in the price of some cryptocurrency.
In a really long time.
In a really, really long time.
Yeah. Well, what's the game? And I realize that now I'm getting sidetracked. What's that card game to where you bid back and forth, and if you make the bid of we'll get all the points, it's called Shoot the Moon.
Bridge?
What?
No, not that one. Canasta, maybe?
Card game, Shoot the
I don't
Moon.
remember. But
let me Google that for you, Darryl.
Yeah. Yes, we are live Googling things on the radio.
Hearts.
Okay, so one time when I was younger, we were playing that. I thought we were playing Canasta.
Oh, wait, hearts? And you thought it was what?
Canasta.
That's a
I
pretty
thought
big
it was
leap.
bridge. I have no idea. I don't play cards.
But
poker.
Anyway, I had an absolutely horrible hand, and somehow my dad was my partner, and he was bidding, and like me and him were the only one. He he didn't want to start, so like you can up the thing and pitch it to your partner.
Okay.
And I knew I had an absolutely horrible hand, and I'm just like up bidding and throwing it back to him, and he's like, I don't think you understand the game. I was like, you don't know how horrible my hand is.
Does that mean you were heartless?
Nice one, Heather.
Yeah, I had no trump card. There was no way that I would have won a single hand on that.
You were not making Alabama great again.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
So anyway, yes, the actual moon, that thing in the sky.
I've heard of it.
That some people say doesn't exist.
I remember seeing people walk around on that for the first time.
Allegedly.
Before somebody
Wait, what are you
makes
talking about?
makes another age joke about me.
The moon. The thing that.
Oh yeah, you saw somebody walk on the moon.
Up in the sky.
Yeah. See, Heather, when I was growing up, we saw things
They
for
had
the first time.
televisions?
They did. On my black and white TV. Now I think we had color then, but we did see a black and white vision of what's his name?
John Glenn.
Not John Glenn.
Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong take the first step on the moon, and that was a pretty amazing thing to see.
Yeah, and there have not been humans on the moon since 1972.
Which would be before you were born?
Correct. I wasn't going to say that.
That's okay. I saw
however,
all of them.
The article here from Slate says on Monday, which, by the way, was the 45th anniversary of the last human stepping on the moon.
Why is it we've only been? Wait, how many people have stepped on the moon? What, just one?
So there was
about a dozen.
11 through Apollo 11 through 18, and on each
17
through 17. I'm sorry.
And what year did we
Minus
land?
13.
Minus 13.
There were 2 people on each crew that made it
So
down.
from 69 to 72, but some of the people flew multiple missions, correct? I think.
Wait, how long
maybe.
ago was the first one?
69.
1969.
So it was how many years ago? It was
Almost 50.
Almost 50.
40. So if you look at how much everything else has advanced in 50 years, how come we're not like beelining it to the moon and back?
Because the U.S. government would rather kill people overseas and spend money on that instead of spending money on going to space.
This is where the phrase, this is why we can't have nice things, because we're spending all our money in Iraq,
Maybe they're spending
Afghanistan.
money stealing resources that lets them go to space.
So that's a conspiracy theory.
It is.
That there is a conspiracy theory that there's a secret space navy, and I don't want to get into
Is it
that
really
at all.
Like it's a legit
Hold on,
theory?
I want to hear this. Yeah.
There is a theory that
All right.
there's a secret space navy.
Whoa.
There's also a theory that there's some kind of secret base, not on the dark side of the moon, but like orbiting behind the dark side of the moon or something.
I
I
Sounds
think
legit.
the people that come up with these things are bat-ass crazy. So let's continue with actual facts. Not alternative facts, the actual facts. Slate article on Monday, President Donald Trump signed a new space policy directive aimed at sending American astronauts back to the moon.
Wait a minute. How is it crazy if 50 years ago we sent someone to the moon, that in the last 50 years we haven't developed a friggin' base on that thing?
Yeah,
I'm saying that's somewhat realistic.
Can I jump in on this one? There's not been a clear financial incentive.
What do you mean?
To go to the moon. It was ridiculously expensive the first time we went.
Yes.
And nobody, to me at least, has iterated, here's how we can profit from going to the moon. So if there's a profit motive, and that's why
Helium-3.
Well, that's why we hear a lot of private companies are very interested in going back to the moon and doing that. Like I said, we don't have the financial resources, even though we lost $21 trillion.
I mean,
that's sort of what we talked
I
about
didn't lose
earlier.
$21 trillion.
I'd say like the people with like the buy into the like colony on Mars thing are more like out there, but I'd say like a base on the moon seems more realistic.
Oh, a base on the moon should have happened.
Yeah.
I'm saying it hasn't, and there are people coming up with all these things of, well, like if you look at this particular something, then there's a name of a space or a ship that we know was never actually deployed in the ocean, and it's in the Navy, so therefore Space Navy, and this and that, and it's all weird circumstantial evidence that leads them to believe Space Navy has something hovering behind the moon, because otherwise you'd be able to see it with a telescope.
All right. My whole thing is you can go to the moon when you stop losing $21 trillion.
Let's continue
Maybe
with
that
the
$21
Slate
trillion
article.
is building a rocket to the moon.
You're all jazzed up about this.
Let's
Go ahead,
continue with the Slate article. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence have been obsessing over the goal of sending Americans back to the moon for months. In a recent interview with Scientific American, Scott Pace, the executive secretary for the White House's newly resurrected National Space Council, gave a short defense of exactly why Trump was so interested in the moon, arguing that while President Obama's previous push for Mars and asteroid-oriented missions had some merits, they were so ambitious that they really didn't provide opportunities for international or commercial partnership. These partnerships, Pace noted, are the real reason to engage with space exploration. As he put it, quote, "The reason we do space is not simply to do it, but to advance U.S. national interest." The White House thinks it can use crewed lunar missions to bolster its relationships with the commercial space industry. The only problem with this reasoning is that the commercial space industry isn't really that interested in the moon. They have their sights set on loftier goals, and there isn't really any great evidence that a pit stop to the moon will help them achieve those aims.
I disagree. I'm with Heather on this. I think the moon, if you're going to do something, and if it's, oh God, see, but here I go again, advocating for government spending. Government, get the hell out of the way. Let the private companies, if there is a profit motive that takes them to the moon, let them do it.
All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate
I'm going to go Team
here.
America on this one.
Hold on.
I want to wave our little American flag and land it on Mars and all the other, I want to compete against the other countries and be like, we're better.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Chris, and say that whatever happened with Virgin Galactic, they were supposed to be doing commercial space flights by now. If they really cared about commercial space flights like Richard Branson said he does, they'd be doing it right now. Why aren't they? Huh? Checkmate.
Because he's waiting for the price of Bitcoin to go up. Remember, he's accepting Bitcoin for those flights.
Oh, I thought the reason he wasn't doing it is because the FAA stepped in and told him that he couldn't actually launch his thing from New Mexico.
Oh,
and he couldn't actually
go.
find anywhere else to actually launch from because government interference.
Ah, there we go. Darryl was asking me a leading question I didn't have the answer to. But I don't doubt that. That sounds like things that government sometimes does.
So there's more from the Slate article. Headline, Trump wants to go to the moon. Do private space companies? Plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What do you think? You want to go to the moon? Because I do.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live.
Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about going to space and going to the moon. My only question, well, I've got a bunch of questions, but a big question is, when I do finally wind up going to space for some amount of time and going to the moon, will I be able to take my pillow with me?
That's a good question.
When I went to Maine last weekend, you can bet your butt I took my pillow with me because it's a great pillow. I've been using this thing for almost 2 years. Chris, you've had one for longer than that.
It's my birthday and nobody got me one.
Well,
you're kidding.
You can use code FTL to get your very own MyPillow at half price when you go to mypillow.com. Let me tell you what's so great about this thing. It's designed to fit to the shape of your body, hold your neck in the proper position, and unlike a regular pillow that winds up getting dirty and collecting dead skin and dirt over the years, you can actually wash your MyPillow and then put it in the dryer, and it's a still usable pillow, and it will still wind up holding your head in the proper position. Go to mypillow.com. Use code FTL. Again, get your very own MyPillow at half price, or you can get a second MyPillow free of charge. And if you don't like it in the first 60 days for some reason, you get your money back, and the pillow itself is guaranteed to last you 10 years. That's mypillow.com, code FTL. Talking about going to the moon. That's because on Monday, President Donald Trump, on the 45th anniversary of the last trip to the moon, and yes, there have actually been astronauts that went to the moon. On the 45th anniversary of the last trip by the American Space Agency, NASA, to the moon, Trump said, "We're going back." And apparently he's got eyes on Mars as well. The White House, according to Slate.com, thinks that they can use the lunar missions to bolster relationships with the commercial space industry. The only problem, according to Slate, is that the commercial space industry isn't interested in the moon. Their sights are set on loftier goals, and there isn't really any great evidence that a pit stop at the moon will help them achieve those goals. Chris, you wanted to make some kind of point about this, of maybe a pit stop on the moon could help them achieve whatever their loftier goals are?
Well, this is the age-old theory has been that it's much easier to launch from places that have lower gravity. You don't have to overcome as much. So the cost of a launch from Earth is very expensive. The cost of launch from the moon would be lower, but the cost of launch from like a space station with pretty much zero gravity would be even less. So I think that's probably why the idea of like lunar being a base there.
Let me ask some questions. What's the cost of getting the fuel from Earth to the moon to make that easier launch?
Right. That's the whole thing. The idea was, I mean, back in the day, and I'm sure they still kick this stuff around, is there are probably the raw materials on the moon that you could launch directly from there without having to do the transport.
And I've heard of helium-3. I don't know if there's actually any of that on the moon.
Right.
Theories are that there is some helium-3. I don't know if that could be used as rocket fuel.
I'm going to turn into like a super science nerd over the next year. I hope you guys know that.
I'm cool.
Like I've actually been doing like MIT's open courseware and a lot of the science and stuff.
Right.
Their courses, they have like free online lectures and course materials.
So are you going to build a rocket ship?
No, I'm you know what, lately I've just been like so fascinated by like anything to do with like the cosmos or like biology and like artificial intelligence, transhumanism, all this kind of stuff is just really, I really think like cryptocurrency is just one little slice of the technology that we're about to have integrated into our lives. Like that's just one tiny little piece of the pie. Like
I don't think anybody's ever said that that's the entire pie.
No, I know, but I'm just like
we talk about it a lot.
I just foresee
right,
like
because
rapid...
we understand that more than we understand quantum AI moon robots.
But I want to understand all that stuff. That's what I'm saying, and I'm on a mission right now. Mission possible. To understand,
to the moon.
Yeah, mission to understand the mission of the moon. That's what I'm on right now.
Right, and that's a good thing. I think that all these different topics we bring up give us an opportunity to become cursorily familiar with some of the technologies they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll never be a rocket scientist.
Don't never say never.
Well, I have no desire to ever be a rocket scientist, but I want to understand basically how this stuff works.
But what about a brain surgeon?
I'll probably never be one of those either because I don't want to be one, but I'd like to understand advances in brain surgery.
What about a marathon runner?
Because I want to understand the basics of brain surgery.
Well, what's crazy is the parallels between biology and like outer space, right? Like the way everything is like laid out, like the connections, the energy, like the planets could be like organisms. You know what I mean? There's just so many.
Solar systems look like little atoms.
Yeah, like there's so much similarity, though.
I think somebody's been taking LSD before doing their course work.
I've never done psychedelic drugs.
It sounds like Heather and I are just stoned talking.
No,
let's continue with the Slate article where Slate says the real thing that would make redirecting to the moon worthwhile for private companies is if there's money to be made there.
Hear, hear.
It's true that companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are making fast strides in cutting costs through reusable architectures, but each launch is still far from profitable. And even though the space industry has always been understood as a long-term play, eventually ventures like asteroid mining, space tourism, deep space travel, and others will put their books in the black. In the meantime, they have to be cautious and discerning. Scott Hubbard, a Stanford professor and 40-year veteran in space-related research, says these folks aren't running charities. Hubbard also recently authored a piece in The New Space arguing that a shift to the moon could derail plans to get to Mars. He says, this is for-profit business, whether it's Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or Lockheed Martin, or even Boeing.
Right. They're all in it for the profit. Unfortunately, it's unprofitable. So for them to do these things, who helps them out?
FedGov.
Federal government with your taxpayer dollars. So
right, and that's what Trump wants. He wants to wind up working with these private companies to help NASA get to the moon.
Right, and I think the conservative message, if there is, this fiscally responsible message is, they just need a little bit of help at the start, but once they're able to do these things on their own, then we won't have to pay for them, and we'll reap some of the rewards of this. And if the money's not there to do something, then wait till you have the money to do it. It drives me nuts.
If there are valuable resources on the moon to mine, the investment could pay off. And that's the thing, we don't know. But they delve into a little bit more here. Plus, your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, apparently, blinds wind up killing people. This is Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today.
Free Talk Live.
The amount of young people being brought up on criminal charges, sex offender charges, for taking nude photos of themselves and putting them online. It's just so sad to see these people having their lives just rolled right over the top of by these prosecutors that want to make it look like they're doing something good, but they're not doing anything that's helping anyone. There's no victim in this case. When you hear the term child pornography, what should come to mind, if anything, should be the idea of forcing children into sexual scenes and videotaping or photographing them.
Forcing children or somebody...
Even if it's a child forcing another child, I think the force is the issue there. If you're talking about a 15-year-old girl voluntarily choosing to take a nude photo of herself to send to her boyfriend or to post online, no one forced her to do that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about going to the moon. And yes, that requires rocket science. Something that does not require rocket science, but does require some level of knowledge of using the internet, is leaving us a rating and a review on, say, iTunes or Stitcher or some of the other podcast aggregating sites out there. Now, I know there are some shows that will say, go and leave a 5-star rating. If you only want to give 4 stars, give an honest rating and an honest review. And the more ratings, the more reviews that you wind up having, then the easier it is for people to find the podcast. Now, yes, we are a radio show broadcast on about 170 stations across the country, but we also put the archives up as a podcast, and that's been happening since podcasts were a thing. So, again, if you like the show, leave a rating, leave a review, helps other people find the show. So, back to the moon talk. And we're talking about going back to the moon. And again, article from Slate. There's, sort of the discussion here is about whether or not private companies actually want to go to the moon, or if they just want to go do other things, go to Mars, deep space travel of some sort. Interstellar travel has been discussed.
Asteroid mining.
Space tourism, asteroid mining. Things that might be more profitable than just a trip to the moon.
I think asteroid mining is the only thing, and possibly lunar mining are the only things that, to me, stand a real chance of generating real revenues.
Right, and that's where we're at in the article. Now, they say, if there are valuable resources on the moon, the investment could pay off. But again, this is a big if because we don't really know. And that's exactly what they say. But so far, we don't have a clear enough picture of what it takes to warrant the investment of sending people up there. Helium-3 has been touted as one resource, but there's no certainty it's available in large enough quantities on the moon, nor is there a financially sustainable method of extracting it and transporting it back to Earth yet.
Yeah, so the question I have is why is this article talking about sending people? Can we not send probes? We've sent probes to frickin' Mars. Those things are crawling around still.
Mars is the only planet in the universe that we're aware of that is inhabited solely by robots.
That's a good point. But again, this is the kind of thing that if it makes financial sense for somebody to launch a probe, a roamer, what do they call them?
Rover.
A rover, thank you. To go up there and take samples and find out how much there is, then these things will happen. But the thought that, FedGov's going to jump in with, billions of dollars to make this happen, hoping that it works out for somebody, I'm not feeling it.
And, it's almost like you read the article because that's the point that Slate winds up making.
I'm agreeing with Slate. You heard it here first.
They mentioned that there could be huge reserves of water or ice on the moon, which could give rise to a water-based lunar economy. But but it's hypothetical. It would be faster and cheaper to do this with robots instead of people.
All right, now I am just going to speed read the rest of the article so I don't keep saying what you're going to say anyway. Go ahead.
Perhaps this explains why so few private companies have lunar ambitions. Astrobotics, Moon Express, and Blue Origin are developing robotic technologies relevant to delivering cargo to and from the moon, which could support something like a mining operation, but this doesn't exactly require them to land on the moon. Similarly, others including Lockheed Martin and Boeing are focused on getting to the moon to orbit, not to land on it. And both companies are already partnering with NASA to develop architectures related to the Deep Space Gateway, a space station capable of moving between Earth and the moon as a staging platform for a human mission to Mars in the 2030s and places beyond after that.
So, okay, well, that makes a little bit more financial sense, except for what? They're partnering with NASA. Of God. Which means tax dollars are going to Boeing and Lockheed Martin. And
NASA is one of the few entities that I would actually wind up, if they stopped being a government agency, I would donate to.
So would I. I would too, because as much as I bust on federal government spending, I love the idea of exploration. That's cool. That's cool. But I don't want people that don't want to pay for it to have to pay for it.
Right. And there's definitely more to this article. Link will get posted up on the Facebook and the Twitter. Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, what are your thoughts on traveling to the moon?
Well, you know what? We never went to the moon in the first place.
We didn't?
It's a hoax. We never went. It's all just made up. It was all pictured, taken in white bands. A bunch of. So I don't
saw that on TV when I was growing up. You're ruining my childhood memories.
I'm guessing you also saw A Christmas Story on TV when you were a kid, and that didn't happen either. That's just a movie.
I know that.
So, Sarah, who wound up filming the faked moon landing? Faked, according to Sarah, not according to reality. Who filmed that?
I don't know who filmed it, but they said the Earth was not moving like it was supposed to be if you really were in the moon, because the moon was rotating. But I believe that it's a big hoax.
You're not alone in that. A lot of people do.
So does the moon even exist? Is it actually there, or is that a hoax too?
Oh, come on.
No, it's there, but there's people living on there. And then they kept that a big secret. They have image photos of cities and roads and convention centers. But
all right, hold on. That. So people live on the moon, but NASA never went to the moon. How's that possible?
The thing is, we cannot leave this Earth atmosphere in our physical bodies. It's not allowed.
It's not
allowed by whom?
Nope. Hold on. Go ahead.
By the cosmic law, the universal law.
Okay.
We're not allowed to. In an earthly body, you have to maintain in the earth. You're not allowed. You have to be born into the Earth's atmosphere by cosmic law.
Is that Scientology?
No, I heard it from the Hare Krishna movement.
Okay.
But you know what? I called them about my volunteer work. I passed out this.
You passed out. Are you okay? Did you dehydrate? Did you get some fluids?
No, I hand out a leaflet with all the representatives and senators and that book. So, but it's part of my volunteer work.
Okay.
And did you know that I was a TV star on cable access channel? I was on the TV at least 50 times.
You're kidding me.
So
Can you send us a link here to the show of any video or anything like that?
Well, the thing is, it has been shut down by our last mayor because he was against marijuana, he was against the wage increase, and he's against a bunch of stuff that was on the radio show. So he shut it down.
Huh?
He shut down the cable access.
What station?
That's right.
What's the station called?
Cable access channel 27.
Gotcha.
And
yeah, I definitely want to look into that because it doesn't sound accurate that the mayor could just shut down the cable access channel.
They could have cut the budget to it or something like that.
No, because there's a federal law that cable access is something that if you have it, you have to have it. You can't just unilaterally say, nope, not doing it anymore.
Well, I want to see Sarah, damn it.
Sarah, thank you
for the
call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What's this about some window blinds killing people? Do we need to regulate these things like 30-round bump stocks? This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in right now. We're going to change gears and talk about why you should never, ever, 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 ever use window blinds that have a cord on them. So maybe you want to buy some cordless window blinds. Those things actually exist, by the way, I understand. Well, begin your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. And then from there, you can go to Amazon Canada, Amazon UK, Walmart. Maybe you want to get some steaks. Go to Omaha Steaks, Newegg, several other things listed there at shop.freetalklive.com. So just head over to shop.freetalklive.com and then bookmark the site that you want to go to. And then you can just click on the bookmark instead of going to shop.freetalklive.com before clicking the link. So, Chris, what's this about killer window blinds?
They kill, Darryl.
Yes, hence the name Killer Window Blinds.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Sometimes headlines just grab my eye. And
So
I'm
how
like,
many
really?
people a year die because of window blinds?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Are we talking in the single digits, double digits?
Almost.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Between 1990 and 2015, almost 300 children died.
Between 1990 and 2015?
Yes.
So that's 25 years. So that's double digits per year.
Right.
All right.
So here's the story. Death from window blind shows need for cord ban, studies say. Chicago is coming to us from the Associated Press. Children's injuries and death from window blinds have not stalled despite decades of safety concerns, according to a new U.S. study that recommends a complete ban on blinds with cords. Nearly 17,000 young children were hurt by window blinds between 1990 and 2015, and though most injuries were minor, no pun intended, almost 300 died, the study shows. Most deaths occurred when children became entangled or strangled by the cords.
All right. So I've got questions here.
As a mom, I'm just going to say that, like, I'm so glad my daughter survived 8 years because there's so many things that can go wrong. It really is.
Did you have blinds in your house?
We did. Yeah. We survived blinds. And
you survived blinds.
I think, like, it's unfortunate, but it's like survival of the fittest. You know what I mean?
I'm looking at the blinds here in the studio, and the cord is at a height to where a toddler could not get to that. Even if you pull the window blinds up, the cord is still going to be above a height that how do toddlers get tangled in these things?
Quite frankly, I consider myself somewhat of a mini blind expert, so please defer to me.
I thought you were going to say you considered yourself a toddler.
No, please consider.
Show me how you get tangled.
So the reason that those blinds have, they're closed right now, so the cord is very high. A toddler can't reach them. When the blinds are all the way open, the cord, if you just install them right out of the package and slap them up, you might end up with a foot or two on the bottom that's on the ground, and maybe it's a foot or two just there.
Oh, so you're telling me that idiots don't cut the cord to be the proper length?
Yes, that is what I'm telling you. That
people
and
don't
if you do the
baby-proof their house. I mean,
what's that?
People don't baby-proof their house. I mean,
yeah.
It's like if you have stairs in your house, put up a gate. If your kid goes tumbling down the stairs, you're just a crappy parent.
Right.
I mean,
that's why you don't let the kids upstairs until they can actually walk.
Right.
I know, but I mean, we used to have like one of those like split levels or whatever. So we had like the gates at the top and the bottom. And like when you have a baby, you take precautions. This is where you're supposed to.
All right. So what happens when your baby climbs over the gate and then just tumbles down the stairs?
Well, then the baby's old enough to climb and clamber.
Things happen.
Or if the baby gets their head stuck between the railing.
My daughter's been injured twice, but very mildly. It was more like hit her head on the coffee table kind of thing.
Mild concussions.
I had a boy. Yeah. A kid was getting injured.
She was like
every
jumping
day
on the couch one time, and we had this big indoor air conditioner, one of those indoor ones that are huge.
Right.
And it like comes up higher than the armrest of the couch. And so she was jumping on the couch, caught the edge of her eye on it, and it just ever so slightly hit this like little vein artery thing. Just thing kept bleeding all over the place.
And Heather freaked out.
Oh yeah, whenever there's only been 2 times where she's bled like that from the tiniest little scrape, just right on the same spot too.
It's the right
the other
spot.
one was the coffee table, and one time I almost passed out, and it was just her and me. I had to like go in my freezer and get a pack of vegetables and like put it on my forehead because like my blood pressure dropped and I started
kid's bleeding.
out.
Heather's freaking. I want to continue
Put
here.
on your oxygen mask first.
Exactly.
Let's continue with the story here about deadly window blinds.
Injuries continued even after manufacturers adopted voluntary safety standards, including warning labels. The industry now has a plan in the works to make cordless blinds the only option in retail stores and online.
All right, so it sounds like the window blind companies are doing this on their own.
It sounds to me like
If they want to do it, that's
the
fine.
government, they are afraid of what government action may be coming their way, so they are going to mandate that instead of you being able to buy a $4 mini blind at Walmart, you are now going to be buying a $20 mini blind at Walmart.
So
bet you the
you're
number
stimulating the economy because you're spending 5 times as much, Chris.
God,
I bet
and if
the
the
number-
blinds break the window, we'll even make more money, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I still think the numbers, if you were to like get all the numbers in the same time span of kids that hit their head on a coffee table, it would be so much
Higher,
more.
right?
Because they're all like walking and they hold the thing, and when they're trying to learn how to walk. So think about how many kids have smashed their head on the edge
Right.
of coffee tables, but you don't see
We
like
should ban them.
We should
Or
ban coffee tables.
Coffee
door
tables,
hinges.
right?
How many kids have ever fallen and hit their head on a door hinge?
or get their finger. Oh,
Slam
when
their
I
finger
was-
in a
I
door.
slammed mine in a door hinge when I was a kid.
Oh, God.
When I was 2, I was standing up on a chair at Mama's kitchen table. She was cooking. She turns around and she tells me, Darryl, you better sit down before you fall out of that chair and crack your head wide open. I sat down, lost my balance as I sat, fell out of the chair, cracked my head wide open, had to get 3 stitches to the back of my head.
When you think
was
about
dropped as a baby.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that
I wasn't
explains a
dropped,
lot.
I fell.
Okay, whatever.
And then when I was 8, I stood up into a deadbolt lock. You can feel the dents in my head.
But
Yeah,
honestly, though,
that
when
was
you,
painful.
when you think about the number of ways people can die or the number of things that can go wrong at any stage in life, it's literally like nothing short of a miracle that we're all still here today.
So I don't want to believe me.
crazy.
There's parents out there that honestly lost their child
I know.
because they got wrapped up in a set of window blinds, and I feel horrible for that. I mean, how
Yes.
can you not feel horrible for that? But is the solution really that government has to be this threat to industry to do away with the cords, something that's been in existence for God knows how long?
I just don't understand why people don't use curtains. But I would never try to legislate that you must use curtains.
Right.
Like window blinds to me seem kind of pointless. Like just use a curtain.
Yeah. Well, if the industry wants to come up with a safer product, that's great. And I think a lot of people will appreciate that.
Just put all of the what not to do things in a little packet and send it home with all the new maternity boards or whatever. You know,
Did
the
you get
maternity
anything like that?
packets and stuff?
Well,
They give you
yeah, I remember that.
information
Yeah,
when
we
you-
got tons of
when you go to the
stuff.
hospital, they give you all kinds of stuff. Plus, when you're pregnant, I anyway went to
That's
different.
not something me and Chris have to worry about getting.
Well, women, when you're pregnant, you read a lot of books. I mean, you got like 9 or 10 months to plan for it. So it's not like it should come as a surprise to anyone. So you read all the parenting books, you go to the classes, like you prepare for it.
And then the baby comes home and you still have no
I
idea
know.
what you're doing.
You're like, oh my
None
God.
whatsoever.
I'm still like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And she's 8. And that's why I'm like, yes, she's still alive. I'm winning.
Yeah.
At least you don't have to worry about the diapers anymore.
I know. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, but that's the whole thing about parenting is, yeah.
She just barely fits in the top of the little section in the supermarket
Right.
carriages.
Right.
Like
So she's at that
just
stage.
barely. She's
Yeah.
like,
And
I
does
almost
she,
think she's too big.
does she still want to ride there?
Sometimes, but then she wants to get out and pick up stuff to put in the cart, and I'm like,
She wants to help you
Not gonna-
spend your money.
yeah, pretty much.
My son went through that too. And then I'd find things at checkout. I didn't.
What is
Damn,
this
Where
doing
did
in
this
here?
come from? Where'd this box of only marshmallow Irish, what's the Irish cereal with the Lucky Charms?
Lucky Charms.
Yeah, the
They're
only
magically
marshmallow.
delicious.
Remember the only marshmallow version that they came out with?
No.
Where it's just like,
It's like every kid's
only
dream.
marshmallows. This is Free Talk Live. We're out of time for tonight. This story about the killer cords will be on the Facebook and the Twitter. And as always, we will be back tomorrow and always online at freetalklive.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, December 14th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,701. Antiwar.com reports UN Special Rapporteur on Torture Nils Melzer has issued a new statement on Wednesday claiming information that Gitmo detainee Ammar al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to torture by U.S. forces, including treatments banned under international law. Baluchi is being accused of having facilitated 9/11 and worked as a courier for Osama bin Laden. During his detention at a CIA black site, he was repeatedly beaten by interrogators and subjected to multiple enhanced interrogation techniques. Though the U.S. nominally banned torture 10 years ago, Melzer indicated that the information he has is that al-Baluchi continues to be subjected to sleep deprivation and other mistreatments and not given access to proper medical care for the torture he has suffered in the past. The Pentagon denied that this was the case, saying they see no credible evidence any torture took place. That they're presenting this with the same language as the reports on civilian deaths in U.S. airstrikes is bizarre because while the U.S. does not have access to victims of their strikes on the ground, they certainly know about the treatment of detainees within their own facilities, yet instead of categorically denying that torture is taking place, they simply deny that evidence exists. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton on Wednesday named his Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to replace the departing Senator Al Franken in the U.S. Senate. The governor announced Smith will serve at least 1 year until January 2019. A special election will be held to permanently replace Franken, who last week said he would resign amid sexual misconduct claims by several women. Smith said, "I accept this nomination, and it will be my great honor to serve Minnesota as United States Senator. Though I never anticipated this moment, I am resolved to do everything I can to move